Welcome to Living Local with Frisbee Real Estate, where we connect neighbors, businesses, and stories because home is more than four walls. I'm your host, Ed Frisbee. Join me as we sit down with local business owners, community leaders, and neighbors to share what makes Western North Carolina such a wonderful place to live. Let's jump into today's conversation. Hey, thanks again for joining us. I'm super excited to have our special guest today. This is Fair Nabors Waggoner with United Community Bank.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I said that all correct?
You did. You nailed it.
That's good.
It's a mouthful.
It is, because there's other Uniteds in the area too.
There are. There are other Uniteds. We're the only United Community Bank.
And I didn't say you're the city president.
I am the city president.
Which sounds really big and impressive. So tell us what you do with United Community Bank.
So, we are communities at the heart of everything that we do. Right. So when I was brought into United, typically seeks somebody who's maybe from the community when they enter a marketplace. So United came into Henderson County 17 years ago. I joined 16 years ago. And it's all things related to, I manage every aspect related to the bank and the community. So community engagement, volunteerism, our branch presence, our staffing, and then also by trade, I'm a commercial lender, and I've done that for years too. So a little bit of everything.
So you wear a lot of hats.
Whatever is required, that's what I say. And I go out and recruit. I recruit fantastic talent, people like Carolyn Swanner, who you've met, my fabulous
awesome.
Mortgage lender.
She's amazing.
The day they hired me, I started trying to get her to come on over, and it took a little while because Carolyn doesn't move easily, but she puts me to shame every day. Mm-hmm.
So are you the only person that does commercial at the bank?
In Henderson County, I am.
Okay.
So, we talked a little bit about how commercial lenders can kind of float around the market based on need. So we, like every other bank, we've got very specialized silos. We have SBA lenders, people who are franchise specific. So the fortunate thing about the size of our bank is community is the core of what we do. So we're small enough to be, you walk into my branch, most people will tell you it feels like they know you. It feels very comfortable. It's not a very structured, strict banking environment. But then the joy of the size that we are is we have the capacity to do anything the big boys do. So I think our unique flavor is we do it our way, which is people-centric and community-centric, but still we have all the expertise on hand to spread it out. So I say really what my role is, I am kind of the connector. So there are some things I do specifically, but when people see me and they say I need a mortgage, I've got somebody to send them to. When they need a SBA loan or anything specific, accounts, my job is kind of to go out and get it and bring it back in and make sure it gets to my best person or people that can connect them and help start growing a relationship.
So when you say that, I think of a rainmaker. I guess.
A rainmaker, yeah. I like the way you say that. I'll take that. So some people, I come from, so there are hunters and skinners, right?
Yes.
And so some people go out and they hunt, and that gives them joy.
Yep.
I think I have always been as you get to know me, I am a talker. I'm very comfortable. Actually, I probably more enjoy being out meeting people and sitting in and doing structured, focused analytics. But I also have the capacity to do that when I need to. So I go out and get it, and I bring it back in and make sure that my people are connecting and taking care of them.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's a good dynamic.
Again, she's city president. That just sounds
so big.
Yeah, so big and impressive. So that's a really cool title.
Thank you.
Maybe I should come up with something like that for myself.
You can be whatever you want to be. That's right. That's not to say. So actually, when we were like years ago when they hired me again, we were doing multiple branches in each community we served. And then I think what we've learned over the years through technology, through outward bound calling, is you don't necessarily have to have 3 bricks and mortar or multiple bricks and mortar places. So I always say we play bigger than we are because we may not have the multi-branch presence, but we are about everywhere that you would expect to see a banker or somebody engaged in this line of business.
And where's the bank out of?
So Blairsville, Georgia is where United Community Bank was created.
Okay.
This is our 75th anniversary.
Wow.
But about 10 years ago, we acquired Palmetto Bank down in South Carolina, which was a really large community bank. And that gave us kind of the bandwidth to move a lot of our operations. So we moved our operations center to Greenville, South Carolina. So it's just right down the mountain. But I'm part of what's considered the Western North Carolina team. And it's nice because Hendersonville's like the big city of our Western North Carolina team. But you're talking a lot of small town, rural Western North Carolina, Spruce Pine, Newland, Boone, Blowing Rock. And so in a lot of those markets, we are the only branch presence in some of the really small ones. And our focus is to always ensure that, we're steadily focused on the kind of the rural population. Like I said, we want to be in the community, but then we have these large operations in Greenville and Blairsville and Atlanta and Savannah. And actually, we've gone all the way down to the tip of Florida now. So we're all over the place. Southeastern.
Right.
We're southeastern focused, and that's as big as we'll get.
I don't want to forget, but there's two things I want to ask you. But
Sure.
Henderson County first. What do you, from a commercial perspective? You're the first to talk to somebody on the commercial side. Yeah. Well, what do you see with the county the next few years?
Yeah. So, I will say that as far as commercial properties, we're seeing more and more activity. I think for the last 2 years, rates have been really high. Commercial loans are big loans. Nobody wants to pay 7 and 8% or more for a commercial loan. And so as rates come down, I think there's going to be more opportunity. And then also, I think you are still at a point where you're seeing a lot of very zone-specific development. So along the Augusta Trail, all those properties on the sides there, those are hot ticket opportunities. And
so you're seeing that.
I am. I have assisted with many, and I love promoting the growth along the corridor there, because that's really, that is to me an intentional corridor for growth.
And it's shocking how fast it's taken off.
It is. Considering it took so many years to get to this point, it is. I think it's amazing and very exciting that it's gone as quickly as it has, because I think we put in more time than anybody else waiting for it to get here. But the one in Saluda that's getting ready to come about, that's going to come about much quicker, but you're already seeing the commercial interest there. And when I say commercial, that's not necessarily industrial or manufacturing, that's, we've done campgrounds and entertainment venues. And so, there are things that are still kind of tourism and consumer specific. But then also you're seeing expansion with manufacturers in Hendersonville, announcements of, I think for the third year in a row, North Carolina was just named like the business-friendly state in the United States, which is pretty significant. And so because of that, our economic development and then our statewide economic development, they're bringing in commercial entities that really care about quality of life, which is where we win all the time. But then, even though our real estate may be a little pricey, if you can offset that with all the amenities that we offer to your employees, and so that makes commercial development here, I won't say it's definitely not a boom, but it is a consistent opportunity. And now that rates are going down, we're seeing a little bit more interest.
I did read a statistic recently that North Carolina is in the top 10 of states being moved to.
I could see that.
Which was interesting. And it's been consistent, it sounds like, for several years. And South Carolina, surprisingly, was a state that people were moving out of. And I was really surprised to hear that. Because all they have going on commercially. But
Right.
How have you seen commercial loans or with commercial businesses since Helene struck?
I think there was a slowdown during and I guess immediately post Helene. But other than properties that, of course, some of the lending rules had to change, as they always have to pivot when you have some sort of disaster like that. So, new floodplain rule. I think it's the same as with consumer.
Right.
But, in general, I don't think it's hampered our our desire or people's desire to move forward. And if anything, I mean, we only have so much land.
Yep.
So, the hard dynamic, I serve on the Ag HC board. I also serve on the Chamber of Commerce board. So one's pro business. Well, they're both pro business. But, Ag HC is for economic development, but hopefully in maintaining it in some form of agriculture. And so as land becomes tougher and tougher to get your hands on, you're seeing a lot of things being converted or transitioned. So we always try to seek to find the best use for a piece of property. Selfishly, growing up here, I'm a big apple girl. I'm a farm girl, and so anytime we could make it advantageous or economically profitable to keep something in farmland, that's always what I would love to do. And really, now that we have all these agritourism businesses, it's really changed what farming can be. Or, it's added a whole nother facet to what you could have as a farm.
Yep. And kudos to them for recognizing that and shifting, because there's a lot of opportunity there.
There is. It seems boundless. I mean, yeah. And when you talk to most of the agritourism businesses, I mean, they had excellent years this year, especially coming off of Helene, which was the immediate damper to the year before. But hopefully some people have had some good recovery and they're seeing things move forward, which is very exciting.
Talking about agritourism, just because where we live in southern Hendersonville is what I'll say. We're off Little River Road, kind of the corridor for people to get to Jeter Mountain Farm.
Oh, my goodness.
And on weekends, we see so many South Carolina plates, heading. And I know they're going to Jeter Mountain Farm just because we've been out there and see so many South Carolina. So kudos to them for marketing well, to a neighboring city and town. And I think others are starting to learn from that. Because we're not far from, a larger population.
No, and I have a family cabin that we just Airbnb really just on a very minor scale, not trying to. And I can't tell you how many people rent it because they want to come up and go to an apple orchard for the weekend. Yep. And I do know the Hunsaders at Jeter Mountain, and every year they add something to it. And you're right, their marketing is exceptional, but just the sheer volume of people that are coming to this area for the classical kind of pure experience of going to an apple farm and picking an apple or cutting your own flowers. That's kind of cool that's what they bring to the table. And I mean, by default, that's what all our agritourism really is bringing to the table. It's kind of a taste of simple, sweet America that everybody wants to remember and celebrate when you can. Yeah.
And downtown Hendersonville's kind of
a little step back in history. Yep. Yeah. I think there's something to be said for keeping it simple.
So I think Jeter Mountain's raised the bar, and I think others are noticing and doing the same, and that competition's good.
Well, and I mean, again, you say competition, but I'm telling you, so our office is on 64 on the way out to Edneyville. Yep. I like to call it the gateway to Edneyville. And if you just look at the traffic going out 64.
Granddad's and all that.
Yeah, Granddad's was one of the first that did it, and it amazes me. Actually, it pains me a little bit anytime I have to head out 64 this time because you're going to be
And they've started to keep their hours longer too, almost year-round now.
I think, and that's another thing that I think has been fun to watch. Hendersonville used to just die January, February, March, and now you're seeing the shoulder season. I mean, everybody's getting creative, finding ways to make it last. So really, we have a very short amount of time that we're not that there's not something desirable to do here. Yep. I think almost always you can find something desirable, and as people again get smarter and learn and adapt from each other, I think it's only going to help us just basically never have a down moment.
I agree. Yeah. And it's fun to watch. So if people pay attention.
I'm a big, let's just say I did not go to summer camp, but I married into a summer camp family, and I lived here my whole life, had no idea the impact of summer camps until I became part of that. And now that's another industry that you don't even realize it's there. You don't realize it's feeding our economy, but hotels are full, restaurants are full, Main Street's booming, Flat Rock Playhouse is selling tickets. And a lot of those are people who are here dropping their kids off, feeding our economy from the outside, which is pretty cool.
It's huge. And just summer camps are literally just summertime.
They are, well, yeah. Well, and again, like everyone else, a lot of them still choose to be summer only, but they are beautiful facilities, and so a lot of them will do weddings and events and reunions on their shoulder season. And we're part of an event called Camp Field Day that we started 15 years ago. And it's at Camp Tonawanda, which is Little River Road.
Yeah.
And they've sponsored it since the beginning. And we take local people, local businesses, teams of 4, and go out there and spend the day just seeing what it's like to be a camper. So it's archery, arts and crafts, riflery, kayaking, a little bit of everything. And what's happened is a lot of the manufacturing facilities have started using it as team building days for their teams. But the whole point of it is to make people aware of what these summer camps are, because they're a huge impact on our economy.
Yep.
Yeah. And we don't even, again, I didn't know it most of my life.
They're hidden.
That's most of my life. They were nothing to me.
And I would think, I'm trying to think in my head, there's at least 15 or 20 in the county, right?
We are. We're one of the largest. So Transylvania and Henderson County are 2 of the largest in Western North Carolina as far as their concentration of camps.
Okay.
And really, selfishly, a lot of camps, especially, let's say years ago, people would come and they would drop their kids off and maybe spend one night in Hendersonville or one night in Brevard. Then they would go to, Buncombe County, maybe to Grove Park Inn or Biltmore House. And that's great. And that's wonderful. And we still want people to do that. But a lot of the focus for the chamber, for businesses and community here, is we're trying to, again, kind of sweeten look at all we have to offer. And we have so much to offer now that we're really getting 2 and 3 night stays out of them. So I know TDA has been working really heavily on like focusing with the camps and trying to help expand those businesses or expand the stays of the families.
Right.
But I tell you, the more you learn about camp, when you walk around town and you're talking to people and you're asking how they get here, I can't tell you how many people are here because they went to summer camp here. Because they used to drop their kids off to summer camp. People retire here. They come here to start businesses here.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. So that's a whole nother Apples camp.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of good things.
Gone all over the place.
I know.
So we're winding down our time, but I always like to
That's
ask
amazing.
people. I know, it's fast. I always like to ask people about top favorite restaurants. Could be 3 or your go-tos for yourself, or even that you recommend for people when they come visit.
Okay. So top 3 restaurants. Well, I will say, so I'm a foodie, but I'm a diverse foodie. So when it's just a good old hamburger and French fries, Orr's Family Restaurant. It's out on the end of town.
Wow.
I know.
You were the first to say that one.
Am I really?
Yes.
Well, I've
Sometimes it doesn't look like they're even open, so that's awesome.
They're very specific in their hours, but I'm telling you, a good country ham breakfast or a chili cheeseburger is the spot.
Huh.
Yeah. And then I would say, as far as like maybe 2 degrees, Highland Lake Inn, Seasons at Highland Lake Inn, one of my favorites. And actually, I take a ton of business people there at lunch because the cost to eat their lunch is not much more than anywhere else, and it is a beautiful
I didn't even know it was
place to
open
go.
for lunch.
It is.
Well, that's good to know.
Look at me. See, I'm sure. And then I do love Shine. It's become one of my favorite spots.
Shine is mentioned often.
When I was a young girl, St. Clair Office Supplies, where Shine was now, and my parents had an account, and it was one of the last places you could go in and charge to a company account.
Wow.
And I always just thought that was the coolest thing. But in and of itself, it's a fantastic restaurant. But there's so many options for food now that you could eat somewhere different every night.
Yep.
So
those are great suggestions.
Thanks for asking.
What about, you have people come to town, hey, you got to go check this place out for the view or for...
Yeah. So I would say, I'm an avid hiker, and there's 1,000,001 places you can go hiking. I mean, Carl Sandburg is probably your good, easy, basic hike.
I don't think it's easy, by the way.
Well, there are. You can just go to the barn if you don't want to do anything next level. Yeah. So there are varying degrees of difficulty. I love our wineries, breweries, cideries. There are activities in and of themselves, and most of them. Mark Tree is at the head of the road that I grew up on. And when I was a young girl, that was nothing but apple orchards and a dirt road. And now it's this beautiful winery on top of a mountain. Maybe like the agritourism industry. I think if you weren't from here, I would love for somebody to sample that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Many of the things we highlighted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great suggestions. Last question I try to ask everybody. Okay. Roundabouts, Love them or hate them?
I love them when people know how to use them. How about that?
That's a great answer. And surprisingly, everybody says they like them.
I feel like there can be a point where it's too many, too much, and that gets a little scary for me because I think that's kind of the new answer to any kind
It's
of
coming.
But when people know how to use them, man, they work.
Yeah, it works well.
Wonderfully.
Yeah.
It's just not always the case, right?
It's not a four-way stop. Yeah.
That's for sure.
Wave at the people 100 yards from you. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Fair, thank you for taking time.
Thank you.
Sounds like we could have you come out again and talk about plenty of other things related to Henderson County. But tell people how they can connect with you if they have questions about commercial loans or just maybe something local.
Anything. So I always say, I mean, if there's one thing that I can share, I'm a happy resource for all things Henderson County. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. I have my whole life. So my cell phone is the easiest way. It's on my business card, 828-606-1515.
That's a good number to have.
I know.
Yeah,
I tried 606 Fair, but I couldn't get that. So it's just the 1515. And then if anybody who comes to our office, even if I'm not there, you will be welcomed in, and we will help you in any way we can.
And where is the office in case people are confused?
United Community Bank, 2520 Chimney Rock Road. As I said, it's the gateway to Edneyville. But in layman's terms, if you were looking for the Chick-fil-A, the Walmart, the Golden Corral.
Yep.
In that general vicinity.
There. Yeah. Okay.
But I think if we stick with Gateway to Edneyville, it just has a little something.
It does. You know, it should create some kind of
actual gate.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That'd be cool. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Fair.
Thank
Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
And, yes, that's awesome. And thank y'all for watching and or listening. And as always, keep living local. Thanks for joining us on Living Local with Frisbee Real Estate. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast and share it with a friend. To learn more about Frisbee Real Estate, your lifelong home resource, visit frisbeerealestate.com. Until next time, keep living local.